the new overtime rule will give both teams in the postseason a chance to get the ball, regardless of if whoever gets it in overtime first in the playoff scores a touchdown or not. They're giving the other team a chance. I think I think personally, and side note, they're keeping the rules the same in the regular season. I think they're going to change that if one or two teams don't make the playoffs due to you score a touchdown, first touchdown in overtime wins. I think, I can see it now. Denver or somebody don't get into the playoffs because they give up a touchdown in the beginning of overtime in week 17 and they get knocked out the playoffs. So hypothetically, I think when that happens, they're gonna change the rules. But what's your take on it, bro?
I don't love it. It's fine. It is what it is, right? Like I'm more upset that they got rid of kickoff returns and stuff still to this day. But at the same time, like I really like the rule that the Titans tried to impose.
And what was the rule?
So I'm glad. First off, I'm really glad they didn't go with college rules. That 25 yards and get the ball. That's the stupidest rule I've ever heard of. So I'm glad
Yeah.
they didn't do that. But the Titans actually had a rule where if you score in overtime and go for two and make it, you automatically win the game outright. But if you miss, the other team gets a chance to come back because then you could lose the game, right? If you only score six, they come back and they could win it with seven. So I liked that rule a lot better. Actually, it left it on the table where you could risk going for two or or whatever. But I don't know. This rule, it is what it is, right? I guess it's only being added to playoff games, so they don't care how long playoff games go, right? That's good television. If the playoff game goes longer, regular season games you don't want going longer. So I don't
Right.
know that they will change it with regular season, man. Unless Tom Brady maybe doesn't make it or something, but over this
I
rule.
think
But
it's
yeah,
gonna be kind of one of those scenarios when that happens, and then they're gonna change it next season, going into
yeah.
next
But
season after this upcoming season.
I don't think so. Just based on the fact that now more teams get in. So it's like, man, we made it so more teams get in and you still couldn't make it. I don't, I don't think people are going to give you the same credit. You know what I mean? Like if only six teams made it in still, sure, right? But now that they made it where an extra team can get in and you still couldn't make it because of an overtime rule, it's like, I don't think people are going to care as much. I know their fans will, but I don't think the rest of the league will care, even if it's Russell Wilson. And I know he's a huge deal and he's good money for NFL and playoffs and he's entertaining and fun to watch. But at the end of the day, man, like no one's going to be upset if you're 10 and if you're 9-8, 10-7, and you don't make the playoffs because of yeah, because of an overtime game. Like I don't think so many people are going to care.
Right. True. Yeah. And like I say with everything else, gotta wait and see. Hopefully, no one gets outed, like you say earlier with Tom Brady and them. Not going to the playoff due to that kind of rule. But we shall see. It would suck if I'm a 12-4 team or something, and like that year with the Patriots, go 11-5 and don't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
now that an extra team gets in, the odds of 11-5 team not making it are pretty crazy. Right now, that
well,
seven
not
teams go
not.
into
I
this
mean,
place.
you could look at it as like the AFC North, for instance, with the Ravens and Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Hypothetically, I mean, in Cincinnati, let's say Cincinnati doesn't get in because they lose week 17 and it was a winner get in, kind of like the Colts did this past year. It
But
wasn't
here's the
in
thing: if an
overtime.
11-5 team isn't making it, that means that someone won their division at probably, uh, I would say 8-8, but now it's like would be 8-9 or 9-8. That would mean someone won their division at like 8-9 and did get in, right? And I think that would be more under question, right? Is because listen, just because you won your division doesn't mean you should get in if you're 8-9 when this 11-5 team, 11-6 team got bounced.
I
I
mean, but
think
that's
that would be
exactly what it means, though.
right. So I think that would be brought up more into question than like, well, they lost the game in overtime. I think that
Right.
that would be brought way more into question is why is this 8-9 team in the playoffs? They couldn't even win 50% of their games, but they won their division. Like that's not fair. And so I don't that 11-5 season was a crazy season. I remember the Seahawks were 7-9, made it that year, I think, or a couple years later after that.
Yeah.
Those are ridiculous stories, and that just brings up like, listen, is winning your division really the most important thing as compared to winning games? But I like I said, I understand what you're saying, but the odds that happening are so ridiculous. Like of an 11-6 or 12-5 team making it and being not made it because of that would be that would be a crazy situation.
Yeah. I agree.